Offense is one of the most fun and most motivating parts of every fighting game. It's exciting to open up a strong opponent with a nasty mix-up that you found, and then as your reward, you get to see their health bar slowly drain into nothingness as their character's soul moves on to the next world. Mix-ups are fun, but you know what's not fun? That feeling when you just can't seem to open up the other player and you have no idea why. It's awful. Are they guessing right every time? Are they reacting? How do they always know when to mash? These thoughts suck, but they can be motivating and help us figure out what we can do to improve our offense, and that's what this video is here to do as well. Offense is too big of a topic to ever cover in a single video, but I hope that this video can give you all a few things to think about in order to help you improve at one of the most fun parts of Dragon Ball FighterZ. With the introduction out of the way, here are 4 things that you should be doing on offense. First, this point applies to pretty much every mix-up that you can possibly think of, but as an easy example, let's use a reactable command grab like Super Broly's. You should consider timing your mix-ups at points where you have multiple strong options available, like after your plus from a jump-in attack or from an assist call. At this point, we could Dragon Rush, go for an instant air dash mix-up, an overhead, or use our command grab. Even though these are all reactable mix-ups, for the defending player here, it's really tough to be ready for everything at once. If they're looking for Dragon Rush, but a grab or air dash mix-up comes instead, then you can imagine how tough it would be for them to defend properly. You hit me with a cross-up last time, I'll definitely be looking for that next time we're in the same situation, which means I won't be as ready for a command throw or a Dragon Rush. But I think this is an intuitive idea once we think about it. I say it all the time because it's so true. The more options you are willing to use in the same situation, the better each of them will be. But a lot of people don't remember to do this in their matches, and it makes the defending player's job much easier. Here's the 2 common points during pressure. Point A, anytime that you're plus, and point B, when you are at the end of a block string. If you only use your command grab in the second situation at point B, and you only Dragon Rush in the first situation at point A, think about what the correct way to defend against you might look like. If the opponent sees you continue through your entire block string, then they just need to look for the command grab. And if they see that you reset pressure with an assist to B+, then they just need to briefly look for Dragon Rush. As sets with experienced players go on, they might intuitively pick up on your mix-up habits and be more prepared for those mix-ups, unless you do a good job of putting them in situations where they are forced to look for more than one thing at a time. In our hypothetical situation, we just need to remember to sometimes use each of our mix-up options in situation A, when we're plus enough to have them all available. If you're wondering when you might want to mix in some different mix-up options, any time when you might have Dragon Rushed is a solid place to start. The next thing you should consider on offense, focus on pressure first and mix-up second. What I mean by this is that you don't need to go for a sick mix-up as soon as you get your turn started. Mix-ups have to be earned, and mix-ups almost always carry some risk and are best used after you've established that you have solid pressure. Besides, hitting someone with a sick frame trap is almost always more rewarding than hitting them with a mix-up like a Dragon Rush or a command grab. Starting out with solid pressure using safe jumps and frame traps gives the opponent the opportunity to mash and potentially get knocked out for it. And occasionally stopping what you're doing altogether is fine too, since you can bait reflect, reversals, vanish, and more this way. Getting hits like these can be incredibly rewarding, and it sends a message to your opponent that they need to consider taking fewer risks on defense. The main point I'm trying to make is that it's a good idea to usually focus on your pressure first, and then commit to mix-ups after you feel that the opponent is willing to block. A different way to think about it is just from a risk versus reward perspective. How much do you stand to lose if your opponent guesses correctly, and how much can you gain if you are correct? Like I said before, almost all mix-ups carry some amount of risk. Dragon Rush can be called out with mashing and jumping, left-right mix-up can be called out with anti-airs, and pretty much every mix-up with a gap in it can be called out with a well-timed reversal or level 3. So yeah, mix-ups usually carry some level of risk. but your opponent will need to take a risk as well if they want to call these mix-ups out instead of trying to react to them. So what about sticking to simple pressure options and not bothering with mix-ups at first? A frame trap can decimate an opponent who tries to challenge with mashing, jumping, anti-airs, and sometimes even vanish. All of these callouts from the defending player might beat a mix-up if they have the right read, but they can all lose to something as simple and rewarding as a frame trap. And these frame traps can hurt enough that smarter opponents should think twice about challenging in the same situation again. And if they don't, then just enjoy the free high-reward combo starter the next time you get to pressure them again. Once someone has shown that they're willing to chill out on defense and take fewer risks, then the burden of opening them up with mix-ups can finally fall on your shoulders. I actually made a fun video with math showing how tough it can be to challenge well-structured pressure using multiple frame trap points. It's more than just a Khan Academy parody. Check it out in the description if you want to learn more. Next, I want to talk about how sometimes the best thing you can do on offense is nothing at all. We oftentimes think that in order to beat something, we need to challenge it with the proper tool. Someone trying to mash? Let's frame trap them. Someone trying to reflect? Let's call it out with a Dragon Rush. Every guess has an answer. Every rock has a paper, every paper has a scissors, and so on. Right? Well, usually, yeah. That is correct most of the time, but I'll let you in on a secret. The thing that beats the most other things is nothing at all, because most risks that people take are actually punishable on reaction. Think about it. Reflect has tons of recovery and can be punished harder with a medium starter than a Dragon Rush anyway. Vanish can be anti-aired on reaction, hard tag too, and of course, supers and other reversals are punishable on block. All of these things could be called out in some way individually, or we could just stop what we're doing and wait to see if any of them happen. It's amazing how much we can beat by doing nothing at all, and how great it feels to punish one of our opponent's risks this way. But what if our opponent does something that isn't punishable on reaction? What if they just mash? Well, then we just block. It's better than getting hit, right? What if they jump away? Well, then we just go back to neutral. What's so bad about that? I'm not saying that you should never take a risk on offense, but I do think it's important to remind ourselves occasionally that we can call out many of our opponent's defensive options by simply stopping and waiting. Try fighting like an earthbender sometime. You might like it. Next, think about situations from your opponent's side of things more often, and spend time in training mode labbing from their perspective. Think about what beats your best mix-ups and lab punishes for those. Before I do an awesome mix-up to an opponent, I want to know what my risks are. But how could I know that unless I've done the mix-up to myself first? Try recording your mix-up or other pressure options in training mode, and then play it back over and over. See what wins and what doesn't. This will help you learn about what risks you might be taking on offense, but it'll also help you learn how to complement your mix-ups well. For example, we could find that left-right mix-up loses to anti-airs as a call-out, so we learn that we need to occasionally incorporate some frame traps in the same situations where we were considering going for the mix-up. This way we can beat those call-out anti-airs on startup, and if we notice that our opponent is respecting us in those situations, we can feel more confident next time when we want to go for the mix-up. In general, it's just always a good idea to learn about what beats your own options. It feels awful when you run into an opponent that has your own situations more figured out than you do, and it feels even worse if you have no clue how to stop them from disrespecting you, because you failed to double-check what all of your options are. Training mode is your best friend. If you're looking for more ideas or information about how to use it properly, please check out my Training Mode 101 series. It might be the most helpful set of videos you watch all month. If you're interested in continuing to learn Dragon Ball FighterZ and other fighting games with me, please consider subscribing to the channel or following me over on Twitch to see when I go live. My fall semester just started, but I do still plan to be making videos and streaming on Twitch as well. There's more on the way soon. Thanks for watching.